Okay, so Boolean logic, right? So before we get into that, we just want to understand like where it came from, right? So we'll start talking about this person here, George Boole, right? So let me. I had his page up, but I moved it. Hold on, just give me a second here. Okay. So I'm going to post the URL, right? And that's where I got some of this information that I'm going to be talking about. So you can refer to it if you like. So we go here. I'm not sure what email you're talking about. If you're talking about emails dealing with grading, I only grade on Sundays. So if you were asking for a grade or something, then it's on Sunday. If not, then you can ask me after class, because I don't recall seeing an email about anything else but homeworks, right? So, okay, so I posted that, and then there's one more. I want to make sure that one more URL. That way, if you all want to read up on this, then you all can do that. You go here, and I'll post a second link. Okay, so those are, sorry, I meant everyone, right? So not just Kessler, so everyone in meeting. Let me repost them, sorry. And let me copy this one. Okay, so that's where I got today's information from, right? So Mr. George Boole, right, born 1815. That's when he was born. So about 200 years ago, right? So I will say that when I took programming courses in the early 90s, right? Like they talked about Boolean logic, but honestly, I never really gave it a thought like, oh, who invented this stuff or how long has this been in existence, right? I just was like worried about learning it. And it's not till about 4 or 5 years ago, actually almost 9 years ago, 2015, where I ran into like some YouTube videos that were like celebrating George Bull's 200th anniversary, right? And I was like, what's this guy? And I just kind of saw the video and it was very interesting. I was like, well, like he's the father of Boolean algebra, Boolean logic, right? So I just want to make sure I talk a little bit about him to and have like the background for how this came about, right? So his parents were trades people, right? They didn't have a formal education, and neither did he. Like at the age of 16, he started teaching math. I'm assuming as a math tutor, right? Like, probably very book smart, so he could probably pick up a book and like learn, right? But not only could he learn, but he could like advance the science for math, right? Advance the field. So he taught for around 4 years, and at the age of 20, this is what, like 1835, he opened his own mathematics school. So he's like, he's gonna open up a school, right? Again, no formal education, right? It's just self-taught. And back then, that was, I'm assuming, right? Like all the lectures, the readings I've done, like that was frowned upon. Like you had to have like some formal education for your research to be considered good, right? Fortunately for us, like his research was like beyond good. Like it was very good. Like if you ever heard of calculus, or if you're taking calculus, or you're gonna take calculus, like he did a lot of research on differential equations, right? So when you get to that, you'll be like, oh, so George Boole like had some input into this stuff. But it's not until like the late 1840s, right? Like 1847 through 1850, right? So 1847 through 54, I think. That's when he did his work on the Boolean algebra, right? But here we're just focused on Boolean logic, right? So, and in 1849, he became a professor of mathematics at a college, right? Like his research and his knowledge was so good that he couldn't be denied. So then he got a job at Queen's College across the pond, right? So apparently not very easy to do. Like just no formal education. Like you create your own school, make your own school, do your own research. Like it's accepted by the scholars of that time. So very smart indeed. And in 1854, like after researching for 7 years, he created this paper, The Laws of Thought. And this theory eventually led to the evolution of the modern age as we know it. That's like from telephone switches all the way to computers, right? So the phone that you carry with you has Boolean logic built into it, right? So that's what we're going to investigate today. Not very deep, just at a high level, what applies to us here, right? What impressive, or like what I think about, right? So he passed. Unfortunately, he passed of pneumonia in 1864, right? So he was young, right? Not even 50, right? So he was young, and I think at that time, Charles Babbage, right? He's known as the father of computing, and him like they intersected. But I think like Babbage's research, he was trying to build like some computer, right? Look, actually, he's credited for building the first computer that had all the components that computers have today. But the point is that they met, but at that time the technology wasn't there to advance the field of computing, right? It just wasn't there. But it took he passed 1864. Computing became predominant maybe like late 1920s, 1930s, right? So that's like 60 years. Like 60 years passed, and then like the researchers and the scholars of the 1900s made the connection, like, whoa, like like this guy has just given us like the foundation for building the computer age, right? Obviously they didn't know that, right? Like computers back then were not what they are today, but that started the evolution of computing, right? And that to me is like impressive, right? That George Boole was so ahead of his time that it took like smart people, a lot smarter than I ever will be, right, to make the connection that like they could build computing systems with what he had researched, right? So this is unfortunately when he passed, right? But those 7 years like have influenced our computing age, right? So to me, that's like very impressive, right? What is it that he did though? Like what did he do that is the foundation of computing, right? So that's what we'll introduce today. So let me make this person. Let me stop video.